Your niche, it's not that saturated. You're just afraid to commit. I hope that was a good enough intro. Your niche isn't saturated. You're afraid to commit. In this video, I'm going to go over why you're being a little pussy. Just kidding. But your niche, every niche is saturated. Med spa, e-com, real estate, whatever you're doing. I'm in e-commerce. E-commerce has been the most saturated niche for the past 5 years. And I'm making over $300,000 with my 2 agencies in the e-commerce space. And so what this video is, it's not motivation. Hopefully it does motivate you. It's not theory. It's exactly how I made my decisions while scaling my agency to over $300K a month. And this is especially relevant if you're under $100K a month with your agency right now. So who am I? I'm Jordan. Nice to meet you. Last month, Carbon Box Media did $245,000 in sales. And then for my second agency, it only took me 2 months to get to my 100K month, my first 100K month with my other agency, Blanket.io. Now we're morphing these 2 agencies together. That's for another conversation. But as you can see right here, when we started back in October 1st of 2025 to November 5th of 2025, we got around $194,000 in invoices paid, which is super cool. Now, credibility is established. What I want to talk to you about is the core mistake that founders make. So the number one core mistake that I see most founders make, and this was me, I was founders, is you are consistently niche hopping. I mentioned this in previous videos or even in this video. I am in the e-commerce space. I am in the most competitive niche that there is. It does not matter what niche you're in. You just have to do enough volume for the market to take notice. Okay, and if you're doing 50K, 40K, 30K, even 10K to 5K a month with your agency, you're probably in a specific niche, which means that the market is receptive to the service that you're offering. And so if you're making money with your agency in a specific field, you can make more money in that field. And it's not that hard. And I'll go over that in this video, but something that you're seeing on a daily basis, and I know this because I'm also in the agency space, is these clickbaity titles. And so this is an old one from Charlie Morgan, why e-com is the hardest niche. Mass niche migration. E-com, the worst niche. Most people saw this, they panicked, and they immediately got out of e-commerce and they started switching to another service that they have no experience in. Get out of your head that a underserved niche exists. There's always going to be an underserved niche, but if e-com is the most saturated niche there is, then that's just market opportunity for you to come in and be better than the competition. And guess what? When Charlie released this video 4 years ago, God, I've been in this space for a while. When Charlie released this video 4 years ago, the amount of calls I had pretty much doubled because the competition left. And I do marketing. I'm in the SMMA space. Right now, the hot topic is AI agencies, AI automation. Everybody has pivoted from SMMA into AI. What does that mean for me? That my saturated industry has just opened up because all the competition is leaving to go do something else. And so stop ignoring what's already producing results. A better question to ask yourself is what's already working? And I want you to redefine what your job is as the founder. If you're not at the revenue level you want to be at, your job is not delivery. Get out of delivering for clients. Find somebody who can do your job at least an 80% efficiency. If you don't know how to do that, that includes building a ton of SOPs and essentially emulating what you're doing and teaching somebody to emulate what you're doing. That's for another video. But your job right now, your sole focus, is pulling the levers that double your business. There are so many agency founders out there that could double their business in 3 months if they just got out of delivery. And I know you're asking yourself, well, the agency can't function without me being in delivery, or I'm going to lose some of my best clients if I'm not there. That's okay. But just know you're going to stay in that position for the next 3 to 6 to 9 months. Just know that you are a slave to that specific client. And your job as the founder is to grow your agency. If you want to stay at 10K a month for the rest of your life, I have friends that do that. They live great lives. That's totally okay. This video is for the agencies that want to hit 8 figures. So start pulling the levers that double your business. Remove yourself from anything that doesn't compound growth. The majority, if not all of your time, should be spent on growing your business. Duh. If you want to calculate how good of a founder you are, the only metric you should be tracking is company growth. Your metric of delivery, your formula for what a good founder is equals X, is how much you're growing your company. How much have you grown your company within the past 3 months? Where were you at this month last year versus this month this year? Are you growing? How much? And yes, building company culture is important. Being a good leader to your employees, super important. But if you lose one of your best clients and you don't have an acquisition system in place, then you're not going to have your employees for a very long time. And you could be the best leader in the world. They're going to leave if you can't pay them. So you have a moral obligation to grow your business. That way you can take care of your family. That way you can take care of your employees. It's so simple, guys. So your title is founder, and yes, that looks good on LinkedIn, Instagram bio, whatever, but your true job is Chief Revenue Officer. You are in charge of growing the revenue and profitability of the business on a month-over-month basis and a year-over-year basis. If you're not growing, then you're not doing your job as a founder. So what I want you to do now is go backward, not forward. Pull the last 90 days of your closed deals and ask yourself this honest question: where did these clients come from? Let's say you booked 20 calls in the past 90 days and you closed 20% of them. Where did those 4 clients come from? And the common answers are going to be cold email or cold DMs, your personal brand, ads, referrals. And if you can't answer this immediately, and I mean you think in your head, you look at the last 90 days and you say, okay, 70% came from cold email, 10% came from personal brand, 10% came from ads, 10% came from referrals, then that's the first problem. You need to immediately understand where majority of these booked calls are coming from. Once you understand that, and let's just say cold email is delivering 70% of these booked calls, pick one channel and commit. Don't diversify yet, okay? It's important later on, but right now you need to do one thing 100% well, not 5 things 20% well. Don't test everything. Pick the channel that's already producing results. And even if it feels small or inconsistent, where you say cold email only booked me 5 calls one month, then 1 call another month, then 10 calls another month, it's all over the place. Guess what? If it's booking calls for you, that means it's market receptive. And it can book more calls for you if you just scale it, okay? So ask yourself these questions. If it's cold email and you're booking 2 to 3 calls a month from cold email, how could you get that to 20 to 30 calls? If you're getting 10 inbound DMs from your personal brand, people asking questions about the service you offer, how can you get that to 40 to 50? If one offer is converting on ads, great. How can you film more ads based on that offer so you can scale spend accordingly while maintaining the CPA that's profitable for you? Pick one channel, and small proof is still proof. And again, it is the market telling you. It is painting the picture. It is this big billboard with an arrow pointing that says you need to double down on this. You need to expand on this acquisition system. So the question that's going to change everything is asking yourself, why can't I just double down on this? It's not, is this perfect? It's not, is this scalable forever? It's not, what if this stops working? And if you have this fear-based mindset, you're not a very good business owner. And I know that hurts to hear, but you need to get out of this fear-based mindset, okay? If you're only booking 10 calls via emails and you have a 20% closing rate, that means, and you're charging, let's just use easy math, $2,000 a month for your service, that means you have $4,000 a month that you're selling right now, and you could literally just double down on the amount of emails you're sending to get to 8,000 a month, 12,000 a month, 16,000 a month. And so get out of this fear-based mindset. Nothing's going to be perfect, okay? There's always going to be another Google update. Our cold emails were paused for 2 months because there was this massive email update, okay? The Andromeda update just happened with ads. It's working for us. I know a lot of other agencies that are getting crushed by it, okay? But if you don't pull the trigger, if you don't have this ready, fire, aim mindset, you're going to get comfortable. You're going to scale way slower. And if an update happens, you're screwed. You're fucked. And so start yesterday on doubling down. And ask yourself, what if I do more of what's already converting? And so my cold email lesson, and I feel like an idiot, but I have to share these lessons because lessons provide growth and knowledge. And I was a dumbass 3-4 years ago. And when I was at around 15K a month, I had 4 cold email domains that I was sending personally. It was automated a little bit, but I wrote all the copy and I was only managing 4 email domains. And it was booking me around 2 to 3 calls a month. And what I did was I thought to myself, like, hey, I'm tired of managing this. I got hit up by a guy who said, hey, I can book you calls via cold email. I hired this vendor. He booked me 5 calls. I closed 2 of the deals. And for whatever reason, I made the classic mistake of cutting costs instead of doubling down. I think he was charging me $2,000 a month. And why I cut that, I don't know to this day. I don't know where my mind was at, but I closed 2 of the 5 calls that he booked me, and I was charging $2K a month. So I was paying him $2K a month, and I was charging $2K a month. And so after 2 months of working with him, yes, he only booked me 5 calls, but he brought me $4,000 worth of clients. And yes, I paid him $4,000 worth of his service fees, but after month 3, I still kept that $4,000. And then month 4, I still kept that $4,000. And I worked with those clients for about a year and a half. So do 4,000 times 18 months. That's what this email vendor brought me. And my dumb ass thought, oh, I'm paying this guy $2K a month. He's only generating me $2K a month. I'm going to get rid of him. I had a perfect CAC to LTV system right there where I could have just told him, like, hey, spend more or hey, double down on emails because I'm closing deals. If he could have got me 10 book calls, I would have closed 4 deals, which would have been $2, $4, $6, $8,000 worth of more deals. And even if I was paying him $8,000, which I wouldn't have been, it would have been a slow, gradual increase. I would have made way more money. And so 2 months after hiring him and firing him, I was like, well, where are the calls coming from? Like, what's going on? And I lost a client and our revenue took a hit. And then all of a sudden I got slapped in the face and I was like, why did I pause working with that guy? And I had this realization that I just need to double down on what works. And so what changed is I hired more vendors. I then increased the volume of the vendors that were working, and calls scaled by a lot. I went from 3 to 10 calls a month to 30 to 40 calls a month. And then once they were predictable and I found good vendors, I just told them to scale the amount of emails that they were sending. And now today, I'm sending thousands of emails a day. I'm booking 200 calls a month from email alone. It's the exact same channel that was working in the beginning with very, very low proof, but enough proof for me to at least expand on it. And then cold email got me to my first 100K month. And now it's providing me an extra $140,000 in contract value on a monthly basis. And this is a screenshot from our head salesman. This was the month of December. 11K here, 5K here, 12K here, 30K here, 18K here, 19K here, 45K here. This is all coming from cold email. This is one channel that I quintupled down on. I made sure it worked and I squeezed as much juice as I possibly could from it. So now it's at the point where I don't have to worry about it because I've put in the work and I'm sending so many emails with messages that resonate with my clientele that it's allowed me to generate on average $140,000 at least last month. Sometimes it's 78,000, sometimes it's 190,000, but just for the sake of this video, this is last month. This is $140,000 that email generated for me because it used to book me 2 to 3 calls a month, and now it's booking me 200 to 300 calls a month. It's not easy, but it is simple. Shout out Michael Smoke. So when something works, don't slow down. And I know this sounds obvious, but scaling can be scary. Hiring these vendors, if you hired 5 vendors, it's probably going to cost you over $10,000 a month. And a lot of agencies don't have that. And I have another video on how you can hire agencies for free. You can send a ton of emails completely for free, risk-free. You only pay for qualified call. Check out a video. I'll link it in the description below. But what actually works is this formula right here, is to find what works. This could be cold DMs, this could be cold email, this could be ads, this could be organic. Then you increase the volume, and that's going to equal more revenue. So again, you find what works, you increase what works, and you get more revenue. Very simple. So the belief shift here is scaling can't exist with a be careful mindset. You need to take that risk, and taking that risk just means pushing harder. And it's not even a risk. If you are booking calls with a certain acquisition channel, then it's literally the market telling you to double down on that. And that's why I think niche saturation is such complete bullshit, is you're just not doing the necessary amount of volume that is required for the market to take notice. That's it. So before you change your strategy, increase reps. Don't change your message. Don't change your offer. Don't change the channel of acquisition, especially that last one. Don't change the channel. Just ask yourself, can I do more reps? Can you send more emails? Can you run more ads? Can you do more outreach to that same ICP with the same channel, the same message, and more volume? You're going to have to experiment at first. You're going to be having to book some calls in the beginning for you to understand what works. But as soon as you do, you can take that same message, that same channel, and that same offer to $100K a month without a problem. And scaling is often just repetition that's done aggressively. So step 6, let these results start to fund growth. More volume leads to more calls, more closes, more cash. More cash allows more volume and more predictability. This creates a self-funding growth loop that literally pays you to scale. Right now, with the ads that we're running, we're booking calls for around $60. If we have a 20% closing rate, that means if I book 100 calls, I'm closing 20 deals. 20 times 2,000 is $40,000 if I book 100 calls. And if it cost me $7,000 to book 100 calls and I made $40,000, that is a self-funding growth loop that pays me to scale. It's literally a question of how can I dump more money into this funnel. Now, there's some back-end things like I'm bottlenecked by I need to hire another salesman. I need to find better team members to consistently deliver at that high level. That's all the back-end stuff, and that's what your SEO, that's what your CEO should be doing, not your SEO. And if you can build this funnel, which I've built two now, one is cold email, the other one's ads, and now I'm filming this so I can build my personal brand, but you will have zero month-to-month stress. If you can nail one acquisition channel, then you can start to nail another acquisition channel. I'll get into that later. But right now, don't add complexity until you have profitability. Predictability, in my definition, is 100K a month consistently with one acquisition platform. That means cold ads is booking you 100K a month in new deals, or cold email is booking you 100K a month in new deals. Don't add a new service. Don't try a new niche. Don't do any new acquisition channels. Focus on one thing. I know I talked about this, but it is better to do one thing 100% well rather than 5 things 20% well. You only have so much time in a day, and it's better to allocate your resources into absolutely nailing one acquisition platform. And once it's at 100K a month, one channel is going to be boring. One channel is going to be predictable, and it's going to be printing cash for you. That's what's beautiful about this. And complexity kills momentum. In the beginning, you want to hustle until you can get something to a predictable acquisition funnel, system, whatever you want to use or call it. You need to have some sort of predictable acquisition system. And if you focus on anything else other than making it a predictable acquisition system, you're just going to kill that momentum. So once you're predictable, and again, predictable means one acquisition channel is generating 100K a month for you, then you want to keep a small testing budget. What I do is I allocate 10% of my revenue to testing new offers and services. And the purpose of this is to prevent stagnation, because I don't want to have all my eggs in one basket. I want to make sure it's the best basket possible with a ton of eggs, but I then want to start putting my eggs in other baskets. And it doesn't distract you from the core channel. You should always have one acquisition system generate majority of your revenue, at least in the beginning. And so testing never touches what's already working. Your core channel needs to stay protected. You need to be allocating effort towards it, but allocate at least 10% of that to trying something else. So again, you don't have all your eggs in one basket. And this, funny enough, is how we found our 90 blogs in 90 days offer. So with our clients, we do Meta, we do Google, we do content for the ads, we do email, SMS, and we do SEO. And our brands in the beginning, before we did SEO, were struggling with SEO. And SEO agencies charge a shit ton for an ROI in 6 months. So we created this super cool 90 blogs in 90 days to essentially get 2 years of SEO done in 90 days. And it cranked for our clients. It got great results. And then I had the idea, like, you know who this could really help? CBD brands, THC brands, these gray area brands that can't run ads on Meta, they could use a tremendous amount of SEO help. And the SEO that they're doing is probably not to the level that we would do it. And so I filmed one ad with very small budget. I'm talking like $1,700 to $2K for the month. Just saying, hey, broccoli brands, Zuckerberg doesn't like you. If you want to get the same traffic Meta will get you, like, book a call with us and we'll show you how to never get banned. And then we'd pitch them our SEO offer. And I think within the first month, we closed $35,000 worth of deals with $2K in spend. And that's why we started the new company Blanket. And that was the screenshot above earlier that I said we did about $194K within 2 months. It crushed. And I took the budget from the cold email channel that was working for us. I tested it in this small ad channel with a good idea, which realistically could have just not worked, but it did work. And it only worked because I tested that. I also had the luxury to test it. Okay. I didn't say, hey, I'm at $30K a month with cold email. I want to allocate 50% of my efforts into finding a new acquisition system. No, I got email to $100K a month before I even thought about testing this new offer. The truth that most people avoid is your niche isn't saturated. You're just spreading your effort instead of doubling down. Winning agencies don't discover new markets until one acquisition channel is providing $100K a month in revenue. Winning agencies do everything in their power to ensure that one acquisition channel is working to the best of its ability. I am preaching this and I'm going to say it again, and it must be annoying, but I don't care. Do one thing 100% well, not 5 things 20% well. Growth doesn't come from doing new things, at least in the beginning. It comes from doing proven things that are already working more aggressively than anybody else is willing to do. Fragile agencies don't scale. Durable agencies do. If you need help scaling your agency, you can work with me one-on-one. I don't have a course. I don't sell any of that stuff. It's literally me and you sitting down talking about how we can scale your agency. If that's interesting, book a call below. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like the video, subscribe, and see you on the next one. Peace.